on this when she was for Mary Mayhew, that she became the acting secretary to Mississippi with it. Really did a great job. And then Simone is carrying the torch. And then to get this agreement, I mean, this is a very impressive facility. Shows we're ready to go. We've taken this very seriously. This wasn't just something we were doing to do. I mean, our goal is to see this through to fruition and realize those savings. So we're basically one step ahead. It's just
YouTube, so I am back. So you're ready for more woke SJW stupidity and fails? If you are, then you're definitely in the right place. Got you covered. Got lots of different topics in this video. So first up, we're not harassing anyone. I urge my viewers not to contact anyone in this video. We're just criticising and laughing at people's stupidity they put out on public platforms. But as I always say, first up, if you haven't subscribed, and we're bogging out. I'm struggling here. Let's start off with some positive stories first. Not really positive, just that, not SJW or woke, because we need that before we dive into the trash. So I saw this 200 IQ. Let's check it out. What's this woman up to? She's peeling a banana there. That is so ridiculous. I mean, how could you grow up thinking you're going to peel a banana? Right, that's a bloody disgrace. Let's move on. And I saw this. You know I'm a big fan of KFC. You know I love KFC. So I think this is from, Spanish KFC. Something like that. Here it is right here. KFC cereal. Look, if you're out there, you know where to get this. Hook me up with some of this right now. I'm going to try that. So, now we're talking about this whole pride flag nonsense. Bloody hell, this is so bloody stupid, isn't it? But thank God the Pentagon stepped up. Pentagon says no pride flags at US military bases, and I can't support that movement up. All this pride flag waving garbage is just bloody annoying. No one even gives a crap. And water flags here. So that's a great bit of artwork there about the flag, but if you look into it a little bit more, you understand the significance of what's going on there. Because the blue, white, and pink flag there is the transgender flag colours. You can see what's going on there. Well, let's move on. Look at this. Ted Bundy is a feminist. It's alleged that serial killer Ted Bundy harmed a lot of, I'm guessing, women for some reason, because he's a deranged idiot. But, well, there was one Bundy who wasn't a feminist. You know what about Al Bundy, the bloody American hero. He was not a feminist any day of the week. He'd stick his foot up their clackers. Now we have this from People magazine. Yes, this is a real article. Yoga teacher Jasmine Stanley believes white supremacy has polluted yoga, and it's time to talk about it. Look, you put yourself out there on a national magazine like People. You put yourself out there, okay? Look, I'm not criticising anyone's appearance, sir. I can't do that, but I can laugh at funny images and that. Oh, God, I think that is the biggest issue that's going on here. I'll just leave it at that. Now let's talk about critical race theory and National Geographic gone woke. So accuracy says it's not just schools pushing critical race theory, large outlets like National Geographic are too. Defending the ideology of most major institutions isn't the foreign stance you think it is. That's true. You're not part of the resistance if you're in league with all these massive corporations and all the social media companies and stuff like that. So here it is. National Geographic, 10 years ago, Michelle Norris launched the Race Card Project, which asked people to describe their feelings on race in just 6 words. She thought few would respond. Here are some of the responses, 500,000 so far that she's received. So we have an example right here. So this person says, I'm ashamed for my ancestors' race. This person right here. Well, I'm ashamed of your ancestors as well. I'm very ashamed indeed. We've got another one here. This person. the girlfriend, the wife maybe, I'm not sure, is of the Caucasian variety. Really? Indeed. Indeed, those damn white people keeping everyone down. I'm joking here, obviously. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because we have this here. Why are they all married to white blokes if blacks are systemically racist? So we got Kamala Harris here, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Don Lemon, and the mayor of Chicago. What put this? All this systemic oppression, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrifying stuff that they're so terrified about it. They go directly into the arms of someone who's of the Caucasian variety. Speaking of whiteness, we have this here. The Journal of the American Psychoanalytic Association published a study likening whiteness to a malignant parasitic-like condition for which there is not yet a permanent cure. This is nuts, and this is real. This is the abstract of the study here from PubMed on having whiteness by Donald Moss. Whiteness is a condition one first acquires and then has a malignant parasitic-like condition to which white people have a particular susceptibility. I'll let you read that for yourself. I don't want to read this garbage, it's complete piss. But down the bottom here it says, there is not yet a permanent cure. This is what's going on in the world of academia in 2021. Absolute idiots putting out absolute garbage. That's what's going on. And I've got more here. So speaking of, blackness and whiteness, this woman says, black girls with black friends give so much. Like, what do you have in common with the white girls? What could two girls of different races have in common? I've got no idea. It's shocking. It's mind-blowing. I don't know how two people of different races could even interact, could even talk to each other. Shocking. Now we have this from Variety. Amelia Clark from Game of Thrones debut comic book is a single mum whose secret power is her period. Yep. Yep, there's going to be gushing thoughts engulfing her villain, I suppose. God, that's disgusting. Amelia, what's going on with your privates? Just keep that to yourself. Now we have this from Vito on YouTube. Why didn't Xbox Saudi Arabia change their logo too? So the first image here is Xbox going full pride. Hate has no place in the Xbox community. Full stop. They're pretty adamant about it there. But it's not on their Saudi Arabian Twitter account here, where there is no mention whatsoever of pride. No pride flag there. I wonder why. Could it be that they're just hypocrites? But we'll finish up with this here. Breaking. Biden tells troops global warming is the greatest threat to America. I think in reality, Joe Biden is the biggest current threat to America. As I get all these work, SJW tells us, get out of our stinking house. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Education. Welcome to another episode of You Laugh, You Lose. If you are new to this channel and new to this series, the game today is very simple. If you laugh at anything in today's video, or even smile, just a smirk, just a little smirk, you lose, and you have to do a punishment. And what is today's punishment? Like I said on Thursday's video, today's punishment is a doozy. If you laugh, you lose. You have to get this tattoo. I don't care where it's at, but you have to do it. That's part of losing. There might be a get out of jail free card at the end of this video. I don't know. So if you lose, continue watching. Don't go get the tattoo quite yet, because there might be a way out of this. I don't know. Just say me. To accept the terms of today's game. If you laugh, you lose. You get the tattoo. Head down, like this video. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked notifications when new videos are uploaded. Can begin. If you laugh, you lose. Go. Dr. Fauci gets in a heated debate with 17 previous versions of himself. What a defeat that would be. All of these guys do dances all over the span of a year, too. I think this is a Babylon B article, by the way. Anyways, this would be a fantastic debate to watch. Very, very entertaining TV. The CDC says to refrain from handshakes. Stop Splendor. Get it? Because, like, he's eating handshakes. Eating them, right?
We've never allowed any crisis from a civil war straight through to the pandemic of 17 all the way around 16. We have never let democracy sink second fiddle. We can both have democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
Democracy sinks second fiddle. Second fiddle, guys. That's second fiddle America. That's how we do it here. Come on, man. Come on, man. Genders are like the Twin Towers. There used to be two of them. And now it's a really sensitive subject. Yeah. Oh, man. That's going to offend some people for sure, but you can't say it's wrong. That's a fact check true. She said yes. Oh, my. What is going on in this photo? Is that Voldemort's wand? Quit being so ableist, Brian. Quit being ableist, man. That's messed up. Keep it up, boys. You don't know what this is on? This is on the new Army recruiting video. Just making the Army seem so strong and powerful, going up against China and Russia. Laughing their asses off. And I'm glad most people on the internet agree with this. It's a joke. John Cena before simping for China versus John Cena after simping for China. I thought he had some more common sense, but one too many hits to the head, I guess. My husband won't take his mask off. Even for sex. We're both vaccinated now. When will this stop? I'm pretty sure that this is 100% real. I actually think this is like a Dear Prudence on it's one of those Dear Abby sites.
When you're entertaining, you want to put out the best. It's great. It comes straight from the earth. And last time I checked, pretzels don't grow on trees. Just saying. Planters. But none of them.
There's a guy out there, so terrified. He's already vaccinated. He's wearing it with his vaccinated wife. This is what happens when you get too brainwashed. When this is out of control. And the worst part for me is I feel like there's probably thousands and thousands and thousands of others like this fool. Sadly. So that's if you're living in 2021 and believe that white supremacy is one of the greatest threats to our society, then you're not a serious person. That is also a fact check true. Please do not confuse your half-past research platforms with my graduate degree in political science. I'll take mine black, no sugar, and acetyl, thanks. Most people with political science degrees, that's what they're doing. So, absolute waste of money. $100,000 plus to get a political science degree. But this smug, condescending, she's better than you, okay? Keep that in your hearts. In your hearts, know this. She's better than you while she's getting your coffee, okay? Seems Whipper and I have more in common than I thought. I do. In reality, breaking her mandates. Did you miss this? She actually changed the school after she got caught. Trump apologized that Apple account information for lawmakers, their aides, even family members. Now, Democrats have demanded an investigation into the report, which says that the DOJ sought the data to try and find out who was leaking information to the media. Congressman Adam Schiff was one of the lawmakers affected. He has called for an investigation and called it a, quote, terrible abuse of power.
This looks like a abuse of the department. Yet another example of the president politicizing, using the Department of Justice as a cudgel to go after his enemies.
Neither former Attorney General Bill Barr nor Jeff Sessions have responded to NBC News' request for comment, and the Biden Justice Department did not issue a comment to NBC. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos right now. So do you want to kind of start off with sort of explaining why might the DOJ want this information and more looking into what was happening a few years ago?
The DOJ historically, and not just Trump's DOJ, but other presidents' Department of Justice, has investigated leaks to reporters in the past, and they've issued subpoenas for that purpose. This is in itself nothing new, but the threat and the these requests is what is bringing them under scrutiny. You know, there is a general idea, leaks to the press are kind of a tradition in America, even though there's no constitutional provision for them. Much like there's no special First Amendment protection for the press, but a general understanding that the press is to be a little more protected than just Joe Schmo on the street when it comes to the First Amendment. So the aggressiveness of these prosecution investigations is so interesting.
I mean, how unusual is this for, it's one thing to maybe be trying to get this information about reporters, but other members of Congress, how unusual is that?
Very unusual, at least to the extent that we publicly know about it. I mean, this is a perfect example. The subpoenas also included gang wars, which prevented companies like Apple and have prevented reporters like at CNN in the past from even disclosing that they were forced to reveal documents and communications. So to that we know about it, it is highly unusual. Jane's cell policy that says that reporters' information is to be a kind of last resort, even though, again, there's no special constitutional protection for reporters. And, of course, you can also work with members of Congress as well.
And I know, Don, this is just the beginning of this. We know that Congressman Schiff would like to see an inquiry. What do you think is going to happen next as this story continues to unfold?
I think Congressman Schiff is right in wanting an inquiry. Any kind of dragnet that catches up minors, children, data is something that has to be justified. Investigations of members of Congress are also highly unusual. I'm surprised if at the end of this, I understand that DOJ has to investigate leaks, but on the other hand, I would be curious to see in any investigation with the independent DOJ lawyers who know the law, know the rules, are able to justify this kind of investigation.
All right, Danny Savalas, thanks for helping us break down this news story this morning. Appreciate it.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the link down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching. Once the pandemic hit, we had nobody coming into the showroom, so we started doing virtual visits via Microsoft Teams. Hey, is that TK?
Hi, how are you?
All of a sudden, we can open up our showroom to customers around the world.
So
She said
why
some
do you think
wrong
she's
words.
so reluctant?
She said some proper words there, but she's wrong. She is finished. The fact is that Americans are seeing across the board that this person is not ready for prime time from the standpoint of being able to be a leader that impresses any Congress, that she has the ability to lead, to do what's right for America. Senator Harris, Vice President Harris, yeah, you are finished.
Well, I mean, look, you can say that, but the truth is, Rick, we see these policies having an impact, and you said it. I mean, sometimes it's disastrous. Whether you look at the border crisis, which was self-inflicted, the foreign policy, which seems to be giving wins and victories to countries like Iran, taking down sanctions there on Iran and individuals, China allowing companies to invest in certain companies tied to the Chinese military, or then there's the oil story, the Keystone Pipeline. So the sponsor behind the Keystone XL pipeline officially pulled the plug because Biden canceled the plan, even though we heard the energy secretary say, the current sitting energy secretary say, that the safest way to transport oil and gas is through pipeline. And we know that they took away the sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 Russia pipeline, and yet the Keystone XL, Canada to the U.S., that's canceled.
Miriam, a great litany against this administration that you just given. I think it's really important for Americans to recognize that our economic and our national security future has been jeopardized because of this administration's war on fossil fuels. Not only was this a massive sin to the Canadians that, look, you can't trust your Russia is all about. Their underlying economics are oil and gas based. The Biden administration basically strengthened Iran. They strengthened Russia at the cost of America. In 2022, I think Americans are going to have the opportunity to send a message to all across the country, but to the Biden administration in particular, that your policies are disastrous to our country. And I said economically, the people who are going to get hit first on this are going to be the poorest of Americans. With gasoline prices, the cost of heating fuel, the cost of transportation for their food, and other products that they use to go through the roof. So keep that in mind, America, as you decide what to vote for in 2022. Are you going to vote for people who love this country or not? Are you going to vote for people who are going to economically make America stronger? Are you going to make America, or vote for people who are going to make America stronger in the national security sense or not? If you vote for a Democrat, you're against America.
Now, if we have a free and fair election, you would expect the Republicans to win in 2022. That is if we have a fair election. I don't understand this Iran move. The U.S. Treasury lifting sanctions on 3 individuals, former senior government officials, as well as several companies yesterday. The sanctions, are they that desperate to get the U.S. back into the Iran nuclear deal?
Yeah, I would suggest to John Kerry. This is a personal vendetta, if you will, by him. It's kind of like, this was my deal. I got my good reputation on this Iran, and I'm going to prove to you that it'll work. Well, John Kerry, it isn't going to work. If you're going to trust the Iranians over America, God bless your soul, brother, because you're in trouble.
What do cicadas and QAnon have in common? Aside from both being annoying, apparently city personnel think the cicada that landed on President Biden could be some sort of sign. According to Business Insider, QAnon forums believe this was more than just a bug. It was a coded message from Q, the supposed leader of the movement to rid the world of pedophilia. Going down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. Every 17 years, cicadas come out of the ground. As opposed to one QAnon Telegram chat to its 225,000 followers read, Joe Biden bitten by a cicada. So happens that cicada snips emerge after a 17-year childhood underground. What? Child? Underground? 17. As for what Biden had to say to the uninvited guest, quote, watch out for those cicadas.
Discover. This is the sound of change. It's the sound of cash flow from PNC Bank, giving you the options and extra time needed to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Low cash flow on virtual wallet from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference.
And with that, good evening, New Mexico. So typically covering campaign events isn't the most exciting part of our job, but then there was this week. First, the flying sex toy at the Bernalillo County Sheriff's campaign rally. Now, well, where do we even begin with what happened tonight at Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's re-election and in the schools? Maybe with negative abundance, because she was there for that. I mean, we've got insults, screaming, and some of it I do don't understand why, but it was directed toward you guys. Yeah. So protesters verbally assaulted some of my colleagues in Minnesota, which is nothing new, to be frank, but it's not right. Right. It's not right, but it's happening in this political world. By what went down may have been more startling for the governor supporters who were drowned out tonight by screaming. Take a look for yourself. All right, I know it's gonna be loud. Those were Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's first and few words on stage Thursday night, clearly overpowered by protesters just feet and a wall away. It was unbelievably loud. In spite of that, I'm running for re-election for another 3-minute campaign kickoff speech. We're assuming Governor Lujan Grisham had a lot more she wanted to say, but couldn't and wouldn't because of the chaos between crowds of protesters and her supporters.
Fucking New Mexico or fuck.
The chanting never stopped. The governor said she wasn't going to be intimidated by the protesters, and she didn't hold back on what she thought of them. I'm sorry that we picked the same location that the QAnon lizard They are still trying to wrap their heads around it all. It was very difficult hearing one. At one point, I had to put my fingers in my ear when I was trying to scream over the outside screamers.
I think there are a few people that are very confused about reality. This is a fringe element using bullhorns. It's embarrassing our frankly process, but we move forward.
Security was there tonight, and gates to get into the amphitheater were locked. As far as we know, local police were not called ready.
It's like you're voted out, bitch.
Cash App debit card is customizable and flow so you can always find it. Just open the app, choose your color, and draw your design right on your phone. Cash Card saves you money instantly. Just open Cash App, choose the treasure store spot, and the discount is applied as soon as you pay. You can use it. Vice President Harris facing pressure in her anger. We're asking when she will go to the border. Let's bring in RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel. Ronna, I'm just wondering, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute failure, how big of a strategic blunder has it been for Vice President Harris not to have just gone to the border immediately? I think we're at an 11. I mean, we know we're at a crisis point. We know that we have a huge influx of people. We saw the president walk through this directly because of the Biden-Harris policies. She's been in charge of it. She is refusing to even ask simple questions that I think she should expect. Why have you gone to the border? It's been 79 days. You're in charge of this crisis, and you're missing in action. I wanted to ask you then more about this a little bit because obviously Vice President Harris is going to like Republicans, right? She's probably going to get attacked by Republicans. That so be it. But the Democrats have done a report on the election in 2020. This is one of the things they said about minorities and voting. They said that voters of color are persuasion voters who need to be convinced. Republican attempts to brand Democrats as radicals worked. Polling was a huge problem even after 2016 adjustments. COVID-19 affected everything, and our hopes for 2020 were just too high. What have been your efforts to try to capture some more of that minority vote? This has been a passion point of mine since I've been RNC chair, which is we have to start investing long-term in communities that have habitually been Democrats and say, Democrats take your vote for granted. If you're the Republican Party, starting a conversation, being part of your community, and interacting. And what we have seen is huge growth with the Latino community, with the Black community, with the Jewish community, because finally the Republican Party is showing up. This year ahead of the 2022 election. And so are you starting to see some results? Absolutely. And we're seeing it not just with voters, but with the diversity in the members in Congress. Look at Young Kim and Michelle Steele, the first two Korean American women to serve in Congress. They're Republican. Carlos Jimenez, Elvira Salazar coming from Miami. That's because we had 2 Spanish-only speaking offices in Broward County in Miami. This is a correlation of an outreach effort from the Republican Party that has been long-term and sustained for 5 years.